morning. Hope everyone is okay, hope everyone's well. Just checking that it's actually going to go live and it's spinning around. There we go. Okay, so make sure that you've got blankets, pillows for Shavasana as always. And if you haven't already, just grab like something little that you can use for some ab work that we're going to be doing. It doesn't matter what it is. You can use your phone, yoga block, anything that you've got nearby. Even if you don't have anything, it's fine. You can just pretend that you've got something. So today we're going to be working on quite a lot of ab stuff. And it's also quite leggy, I've realised, when I taught it once already on Sunday. So, sorry, because last week was as well. So if you've just put it on, grab yourselves pillows and blankets for Shavasana. It's also quite good to have a pillow if you get any like knee issues when we come into these kneeling postures, just to place something underneath, just to give your knee a little bit of cushioning. It's usually alright if you're on a carpet, but if you're on like a wooden floor, or like in a kitchen, it's quite uncomfortable on the knees. And the last thing that you will need is just a little object. It doesn't matter what it is, just to do some core work. Don't worry if you've not got anything, because you can just pretend that you've got something. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. So we're going to start laying down. So if you want to get yourselves just into a comfortable laying down position on your backs. So I'll say it again, just in case anybody has just put it on. Just grab yourselves pillow, blankets for Shavasana, anything for like extra cushioning, so anything to put underneath your knees when we go into some of the lunges, and a little item, doesn't matter what it is, just to do some ab work. I'm not telling you what it is, it'll be a surprise. Excuse me. Cool. I think that should be everyone, so let's make a start. So we're going to start laying on our backs. So you can either keep your legs out long, if that feels comfortable on the lower spine. If not, you can have the knees bent. We're just going to start with a little bit of a side stretch before we start our little meditative bit at the beginning. So just start to walk your feet over to the left side of the mat, keeping your back onto the mat and keeping your shoulders onto the mat. Just start to shuffle both shoulders over to the left as well. And then from here, start to bring the hands up overhead. So you should feel quite a strong stretch down the right side of the body. Just keep edging your feet over a little bit more, shuffling your shoulders over a little bit more until you find that stretch down the right side of the body, into the right hip flexor, maybe into the right shoulder. And I'll just stay here for a couple of seconds. Really reach the hands up overhead. And then just start to walk your feet back into the centre of the mat. Shuffle your shoulders into the centre as well, and we'll move to the other side. So just walk the feet over to the right hand side. And keeping the shoulders down, keeping the back down, just start to shuffle the shoulders over to the right side of the mat as well. So you come into this kind of banana shape. Get in that stretch down the left side of the body. So you'll feel it differently, depending on where you're tighter, but you might be able to feel this down the left leg, left hip flexor, left side of the body, into the left shoulder maybe. So just keep shuffling the feet across, shuffling the shoulders across, and then extend the arms up overhead, so really reach the hands behind you. And then start to make your way back into the centre of the mat. So take any adjustments with your body that you need to take, and then find yourself a comfortable position. So either legs out straight or bend the knees, let the knees collapse in towards each other. If you want a passive stretch for the hips, then you can bring the soles of the feet together and just let the knees collapse down towards the side. If this gets too much, you can always bring the knees back up and just switch your position. We'll start by taking a big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. We'll do that one more time. Big inhale in through the nose. And then exhaling it out through the mouth. Just starting to let the body settle into the mat, settle into the floor. Just notice where the hands are. You can either keep the hands down by the side or have the hands on the belly. Just go with whatever is comfier for you, whichever is your first instinct. And we'll just start, as always, by giving ourselves a quick body scan. So just noticing how the body feels today. Starting from the crown of the head, moving down to the tips of the toes, just noticing if there's anywhere that feels tight, anywhere that feels tension, anywhere that feels like it's gripping. And to see if you can start to relax those areas. And start to relax the forehead, softening the jaw. Just allowing the shoulders to become heavy. Allowing the arms and the legs to feel heavy. And we just start to bring our attention inward. So we're just starting to observe the body here. So just bring your attention to your breath. Just notice it moving around the body. Noticing where you can feel your breath, so maybe noticing the rib cage, the chest, the expansion with the inhales and that softening with the exhales. Maybe noticing the movement in the belly. Maybe you can feel the breath in the throat or the nose. And just start to observe the length of the breath, so noticing whether it's quite smooth, quite soft, whether it's quite sharp, quite ragged, it's getting stuck somewhere, whether it's quite slow, quite fast. Maybe the inhales feel completely different to the exhales. We're not judging it, we're not trying to change it, we're just observing it. And then we will slowly start to lengthen the breath. So making the inhales a bit deeper and making the exhales even deeper. If you have the mouth open, just start to seal the lips, so both inhales and exhales are moving in and out through the nose. With your inhales, imagine that you're trying to fill the belly with air, so we call it a Buddha belly, so you're trying to make the belly as big as possible with your inhales, really fill up the belly, fill up the chest. And then with your exhales, just allowing all the breath to come back out of the body. So we can use this control over the breath to help us feel more relaxed. So really think about making the exhales longer, or at least as long as the inhales. If it helps, you can start to count the breath. So maybe counts of 4, if that feels okay, counts of 5, counts of 6. On your next round of exhales, just start to wake up the abdominal core. So we're going to start to pull the belly button back towards the spine at the bottom of the exhale. It's just a slight engagement, we're not fully tensing the abs. Just starting to wake up the abdominal muscles. We'll stay here for another 3 more rounds of breath. So really focus on slowing these next 3 breaths down. Using your exhales to see if you can soften the body down into the mat, especially those areas that feel like they're gripping, if there are any. We'll take 1 more full round of breath, so make this your last set of inhales and exhales. We'll just start to wake the body up again, so wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. I'll take a long pencil stretch, so if you have the knees down wide, just use the hands to bring the knees up, extend the legs out long, take the hands up overhead, point fingers, point toes, and then start to draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. Keeping hold of the right knee, extend the left leg out long. So I'm going to start to make a couple of circles with that right knee, so getting into that right hip joint, moving the knee out to the side and then pulling it across the body. You might be able to feel a little bit of a stretch in this position as well, but don't worry if not, we're just starting to wake up the hip joint. So when you've done it in one direction, just change directions and move in the other. Just notice if it feels sticky anywhere, notice if it's moving quite freely. And then when you're done, keep hold of that knee in the centre of the chest. We're going to place the left hand onto the outside of the right knee and then guide that right knee all the way down until it taps the left side of the floor. From here, extend your right arm towards the right and just take your gaze to follow that right hand. You might find that that right knee starts to rise up off the mat, which is fine. Just see if you can allow the right shoulder to soften here. Observing where you can feel the stretch the most. So this is a good stretch for the abductors, so the outside of that right leg. It's a spinal twist, so it'll get into the T-spine, the lumbar spine, the cervical spine, the neck. You'll feel this maybe across the chest as well, into that right arm. Make your way back to centre. Got our first bit of ab work, so bend the right elbow, press the right elbow up as close to that right knee as you can, so you're trying to squeeze the right elbow right above that right knee. Lift your chest off the mat, bring your left hand alongside that left leg and just start to hover that left leg off the mat. If you want a little bit more, take your left hand up overhead. Think about really squeezing that right elbow into that right knee as hard as you can. Hold it here for 5, keep breathing. 4, press it harder. 3, see if you can get a little bit closer to that right knee. 2, and 1, release, hug the knees into the chest. Keeping hold of the left knee, just extend that right leg out long. Start to make those circles with that left knee this time, so moving in one direction, take about 3 in one direction. Move as big into this movement as much as you can, so really trying to make these circles quite big to really get into that hip joint. When you've gone one direction, change direction, moving in the other. Just noticing where you can feel this, whether it feels quite rigid in any areas, and whether it feels quite smooth. And then when you are done, keep hold of that left knee. We're going to place the right hand onto the outside of the left knee and then guide the knee all the way over to the right until it taps the floor. The left hand is then going to extend out to the left and your gaze can follow. Again, that left knee might start to rise up off the mat, which is fine. Start to let that left shoulder feel heavy, relaxing the hips here. Just noticing where you can feel it. Maybe it feels different to the other side. So you might feel it in the hip, that left hip, left thigh, left glute. maybe into the spine or across the chest. Or maybe something that you feel some sensations somewhere else completely. Coming back to those long inhales and deep exhales. Making your way onto your back. Keep that left knee in towards the chest. We'll bend the left elbow and then press the left elbow as close towards the very top of that left knee as you can. So it's kind of coming into that fleshy bit above the left knee. From here, bring your right hand up in front of your face and then hover the right heel off the mat. If you want more, extend your right hand back. Really think about pressing that left elbow into that left knee as hard as you can. Lift up the chest, hold it here for 5, keep breathing. 4, press it harder. 3, lift up the chest. 2, and 1, relax. Hook the knees into the chest. Just give yourself a little rock from side to side. So just massaging the spine into the mat. The lower back can roll around on the mat. Keeping the knees where they are, bring the hands alongside the legs and just start to lift the chest up off the mat. You should feel this instant activation of the abdominal muscles as soon as you start to lift your chest up. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, extend the right leg out long. The right heel just hovers an inch off the mat. We inhale, bring the right knee in, extend the left leg out long. Exhale, right leg extends, left knee comes in. So just stick with this movement with the legs. If this is getting too much on the neck, just use your fingertips behind your head to give your neck a little bit of support. But try not to use the elbows to drive your chest up. Keep the elbows back so you're using the core muscles here to keep your chest lifted. Stay connected with the breath. So with your inhales, you're extending that left leg. And with your exhales, you're extending the right leg. We'll hold it here for another 5. We're going to try and move in time with the breath. 4, 3, make sure you're breathing. 2, see if you can lift the chest up higher. And make this your last one. Hug the knees into the chest, coming onto your backs on the floor. Keep the knees in, just rocking from side to side. We're going to start to extend the legs out long. Bring the hands up overhead, take a long pencil stretch. You're going to need your object now, so whatever you're using, just grab hold of it. I'm just going to use a yoga block to demonstrate, but it doesn't matter what it is, it can be anything. So place your object in your head, place your object in your hands and then bring the hands up overhead. With an inhale, we're going to lift up the left leg, reach our object up behind that left leg, pass it behind, and then come all the way back down. Swapping to the right side, inhale, lift right leg, lift up your chest, pass the object behind, and then come all the way down. We're just going to stick here with this movement, so inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower. Swapping legs each time, inhale to lift, exhale to lower. See how close to your leg you can get your chest every time you come up, and try and keep that leg as straight as possible. We'll stay here for another 10, 9, 8, keep breathing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, make this your last one, and relax. Pop your brick block, whatever you're using, to one side. Place the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. We're going to come into a glute bridge to stretch off the abs, so squeeze your bum, lift your hips up. Keep your head facing up towards the sky. Try and draw the knees together, so your knees won't meet, but you want to get this sensation that you're trying to squeeze the legs together. Take 2 more breaths here. Big inhales in through the nose, and big exhales back out through the nose or through the mouth. Just start to lower your chest, your hips back down towards the mat. Hug the knees in. One more time, we're not quite done yet. Start to hover the chest up off the mat and bring your hands down alongside the legs. We're going to move into a hollow body position or a low boat position. So from here, keeping the lower back pressing into the mat. Start to extend the legs out as far as you can until that lower back starts to collapse or starts to rise up off the mat. So this might mean that your knees are bent. It might mean that you've got one leg bent, one leg extended. You can keep swapping. Or maybe you can take both feet out in front, keep pressing that lower back down. Make it harder by bringing the hands up overhead. Holding it here for 5, keep breathing. 4, 3, lift the chest up. 2, and 1, relax, hook the knees into the chest. We'll take another glute bridge. Soles of the feet come down. Squeeze your bum, lift up the hips. Taking 2 breaths here just to stretch off those abs. And then relax your lower back and your hips down towards the mat. Bring the knees into the chest one last time. Place the hands behind the legs, so just coming onto the hamstrings. We're just going to start to rock forwards and backwards a couple of times. Each time you come up to the centre, hold it here. So rocking back, moving slowly when you come up. We'll do this one more time. And then the next time you come up, see if you can hold it here. So you can either keep the tips of the toes on the mat, or you can start to hover the feet off the mat. Coming into our birch position. Squeeze the knees together, hands come alongside the legs, lift up the chest. Make sure that you've got a really long spine, you're not starting to collapse into that lower back. And then if you can keep that length in the spine, you can start to extend the legs up a little bit more. Keep lifting up the chest, holding it here for 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, squeeze the legs, lift the chest. 2, and 1. Coming back onto your backs, rocking forwards and backwards again. This time we're going to start to come up a little bit higher. Eventually we're going to make our way up to standing. So if you need to use your hands and your feet, you can do. If not, try and use the momentum of rocking forwards and backwards. Eventually we're going to come up into our chair pose. So it's like you're doing a backwards burpee if you've done them. So we'll all meet in this chair position. Don't worry if you didn't quite rock and roll up there. If you need to just use your hands and just walk up, that's absolutely fine. So for your chair position, sinking down into the heels, bending the knees, tuck the sit bones under, belly button pulls back towards the spine, shoulders are down away from the ears, and we reach the hands up high. Just check that the feet are about hip width apart. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, start to extend the right arm back, left hand forward, but try and keep the hips exactly as they are, so try not to move into the hips. Inhale to come up to centre. Exhale, twist right hand forward, left hand back. Again, keeping the hips exactly where they are. Inhale, bring the hands up. Exhale to twist. Try and ignore that burning in the thighs. Inhale to come up. Exhale, twist right hand forward, left hand back. Last 2. Inhale to lift the hands up. Exhale, twist right hand back, left hand forward. See if you can bend the knees a little bit more. Last time, inhaling to come up. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. Again, keep the hips exactly as they are. Inhale, straighten the legs, bring both hands up towards the sky. As you exhale, forward fold, bring the hands down towards the feet. So in your forward fold, your hands can either be on the mat, they can take hold of the legs. You just want to make sure that you've got a straight spine and that you can feel a stretch in your hamstrings. This might mean bending the knees. With an inhale, come up halfway, either onto fingertips, shins or thighs, so the chest is now parallel with the mat. Exhale, coming back into that forward fold. See if you can fold a little bit deeper. Just going to keep moving through these 2 movements. So we inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. See if you can move a little bit deeper. Next 2, inhale to lift up the chest, halfway lift. Exhale to fold a little bit deeper. Last 1, inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forwards a little bit deeper. Place both hands onto the mat, step back to a high plank position. So push back through the heels, squeeze your bum. If your lower back is collapsing, just drop the knees down onto the mat. If there's any wrist injuries, just make your way into a forearm plank instead. I'm going to hold it here for another 5 breaths, so really press into the hands, drawn between the shoulders. Belly button pulls back towards the spine. Engage the quads so the legs are active. Keep looking to the front of the mat, so try not to let the head collapse down towards the chest. Holding it here for another 3, keep breathing. 2, and 1. If you have the knees down, lift up the knees. We're just going to start to walk the hands back to our feet at the back of the mat. Really bend the knees and just hang out in your ragdoll position. So let the head be heavy, let the spine round here. You want to create the sensation of the chest touching the thighs, so really bend your knees here. If you want, you can take hold of opposite elbow, just start to rock from side to side. If you want a test of your balance, then close your eyes here. Just have a play around with rocking the weight forwards and backwards. Maybe lifting up the toes, lifting up the heels. Place both hands back down onto the mat, and we're just going to start to walk back out into our plank position. From your plank position, just walk your feet out a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to drop both heels over to the right hand side as if we're preparing to move into a side plank. So you can keep both knees lifted or drop the right knee down. Start to lift the left hand off the mat, opening up into your side plank. Again, if there's any wrist injuries, then just drop onto the forearm of that right hand. So your right leg can be down, or you can keep both feet as they were, or you can start to stack the left foot on top of that right foot just to give yourself a little bit of a test for your balance. Keep lifting up the hips, holding it here for 5. Keep that shoulder stacked over the right wrist. 4, 3, keep breathing. 2, lift the hips up higher. And 1, coming back into your plank position. We've got the same thing on the left hand side. So just shuffle, drop both heels over to the left hand side. Again, there's the option to drop the left knee down or keep both feet as they are as you reach the right hand up into your side plank. You can test your balance by stacking that right foot on top of the left foot. Keep lifting up the hips. Check that the left shoulder is stacked over the left wrist. Holding it here for 5. Keep lifting up the hips. 4, 3, keep breathing. 2, and 1. Finding your plank position. Drop the knees down onto the mat. Keep the elbows tucked in as you lower the chest down towards the mat. Untuck the toes. Shuffle the forearms forward. Take an inhale to lift up the chest into your Sphinx position. So keep pressing the forearms down. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze your bum and press the backs of the feet down onto the mat. We exhale to lower the chest back down towards the mat. Pull the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Lift up the thighs. Screw the elbows in. Pressing up into a plank position. And then sending the hips up. Finding your first downward facing dog. So just take a couple of movements. Walk the dog, pedal the legs in this first downward dog. Just check that your hands are as wide as the shoulders and that your feet are as wide as the hips. Your hands are walking out further forwards than your shoulders. So you don't want to have the shoulders stacked over the wrists. You want to send the shoulders back. Push your hips up. When you are ready, just start to find some stillness in your downward facing dog. So this is quite an intense stretch for the hamstrings and the calf. So if you've got any tightness down the back of the legs, especially because it's the morning, just bend the knees and drive the hips up towards the sky instead of compensating by rounding the back. We're going to start to move through a plank matrix. So make your way into a plank position. From here, hover the right toes off the mat, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, drive the right knee towards the right elbow. Swap sides so the right knee comes towards the left elbow. Going back to the right. Step it back either to a plank or a downward dog. Inhale, bend the left knee. Left knee comes towards left elbow. Move it across to the right elbow. Coming back to the left or as close to the elbows as you can. Step it back either into your plank or your downward dog. We'll do one more each side. So bend the right knee comes towards the right elbow. Move it across as close towards that left elbow as you can. Back to the right elbow. Step it back, either plank or down dog. Probably should have said you can drop the knees down if you need. Draw that left knee towards the left elbow. Get as close towards that right elbow as you can. Back through to the left elbow. Send the hips up into your downward dog. Then drop the knees out wide. Bring the feet together. And just drop your chest down onto the mat into your child's position. If your child's position is uncomfortable on the knees, Then just keep your bum up a little bit higher, and you can always use your forearms as a little pillow instead of extending the hands out long. We'll just take 5 breaths here, so really see if you can start to slow the breath down again. Think about trying to come back to that rhythm of breath from the beginning of the class. So those slow inhales and slow exhales. From your child's pose, make your way back up into a downward facing dog. Tucking the toes under, sending the hips up towards the sky. With an inhale, lift up the right leg, 3-legged dog. Keep the right foot flexed, keep the hips square. With an exhale, bend the right knee, sweep the right knee as close towards the right elbow as you can, and then drop that right foot down to replace the right hand. So if you can't quite swing it through, you can either shuffle the right foot forwards or use the right hand to drop that right foot forward. Drop the left knee down, grab any blankets underneath that left knee that you need, and then we'll inhale to lift the hands up into a crescent lunge. As you exhale, keep the right hand lifted. We're just going to bring the left hand down onto the mat and then reach the right arm up to the sky. So you're getting this twist into the spine. Keep spreading the fingertips wide. Keep squeezing the glutes, especially the left glute. You should feel the stretch in the left hip flexor. Cross the chest into the spine. With an exhale, we're either going to bring the right forearm towards the right thigh or the right hand onto the inside of that right leg. Lift the left arm up to the sky. Keep breathing here. Spread the fingertips wide. Try and draw the left shoulder up and back rather than letting it round forwards. Exhale, bring that left hand back down. Reach the right hand up. If you can either keep that left knee down or tuck the left toes, lift the left leg, left knee off the mat. We are going to take all of the weight into the right foot and then start to hover the left fingertips off the mat. Using your abdominal strength, press through that right knee, coming up into an awkward twist. So you're twisting over that right leg, the hands are active, the shoulder blades are down. Inhale, bring both hands up. Exhale, place both hands flat onto the mat and then step back into a plank position. From here, drop both heels over to the right hand side. You can stay here or drop the right knee down. We're going to move into a side plank, lift the left hand up. Again, there's the option to drop onto that right forearm if there's any tension in that right wrist. Keep lifting up the hips. If you want a challenge, start to hover that left leg wherever you are. You can drop the right knee down if you need to. Keep breathing, lift the hips up higher for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back through your plank position, send the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Moving on to our left side with an inhale, lift the left leg up, 3-legged dog, keep that left foot flexed. As you exhale, bend the left knee, sweep that left foot as close towards the left hand as you can, so shoulder stack over wrists. Use the momentum to swing it through. If it hasn't quite met that foot, that hand, just use the hand to pull it through. Drop the right knee down, again using any blankets underneath that right knee. Inhale, lift up the hands. Keeping the left arm lifted, we're going to bring the right hand back down towards the mat. Press into that right hand and open up the left chest towards the sky. If you can't quite meet the mat with that right hand, then you can come onto a fist, or if you've got any books or your pillow nearby, you can use that as a little layer to help you get that lift through the chest. Spread the hands wide, squeeze the right glute. Take one inhale here. As you exhale, either bringing left forearm to left thigh or left hand onto the inside of the left leg, we will reach that right arm up towards the sky. Spread the hand wide. Keep squeezing the glutes. Exhale, bring that right hand back down towards the mat. Reach the left arm up. Either keeping that right knee down or tuck in the right toes, lifting that right knee off the mat. Really activate both legs, press into the left foot, start to hover the right hand off the mat. Use those abdominal muscles to bring you up into an awkward twist position. So squeeze the bum, spread the arms wide, keep spreading the fingertips wide. Take one more inhale here. Bring the hands up overhead. Pull out both hands back down onto the mat, step the left foot back into your plank position. Dropping both heels over to the left hand side. You can drop that left knee down or keep that left foot lifted. We are going to open the right hand up into our side plank. So if you want a challenge, you can start to hover that right foot off the mat wherever you are. Lift up the hips, shoulder, left shoulder stacked over the left wrist. Keep breathing. And then make your way back into a plank position, sending the hips up into a downward facing dog. Either spending 5 breaths in a downward dog or 5 breaths in a child's position. Just let the body relax, coming back to your slow rhythm of breath. So take big inhales in through the nose. Big exhales either out through the mouth or out through the nose. If you're in your downward dog, spread the shoulders away from the ears. Really engage the quads. And see if you can start to drive the chest back towards the thighs. If you're in your child's pose, think about drawing the shoulders away from the ears and just let the head relax either onto the mat or onto the forearms. Wherever you are, start to make your way back up into a downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, bend the knees, tiptoe, step, hop or jump, both feet in between the hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Fold in a little bit deeper. You can keep the knees bent here. Inhale, keeping that bend in the knees, fingertips brush the floor, coming up into your chair position. So bending into the knees, taking the weight through the heels. Just make sure that the feet are about hip width apart. Shoulders move away from the ears. Abdominal core is turned on. We're going to come up onto the tiptoes here, so find your balance. We're not going to be here for long. Find something still to look at. And then lower the heels down. Take the right hand back, left hand comes forward. So finding that twist we did at the beginning. You can stay here, or bring the hands together, either in a prayer position, or just make a fist with the hands. Bend the knees enough so that the left tricep can start to hook over the right thigh. Press the hands together and then drive the chest up towards the sky. So just check that the knees are in line and that left knee hasn't started to move forward. So you want to keep both knees next to each other. Try and twist the chest open towards the sky and imagine you trying to bring the hands to meet at the sternum in the centre of the chest. So you can stay here, or if you want to have a play around with the arm balance side crow, then you can do. So if you're playing around with side crow, come all the way down into this kneeling position. Stay twisted over that right thigh and then place the hands shoulder width apart down onto the floor. From here, you can use bricks or blocks if you need to, just to give yourself a little bit of height to make sure that you can meet the floor. You're going to bend the elbows backwards and in. The very top of that right thigh and your hip are then going to start to meet the elbows on both sides. So you've got your right hip meeting the right elbow and your right knee, meeting the left elbow. From there, you can just start to have a play around with leaning forwards into this balance. If that feels okay, maybe you can start to lift up the left leg. Maybe you can start to lift up both feet. If that feels easy, then you can start to extend both legs forwards. I'm not going to demonstrate it on camera just because I'll probably face plant the floor. But this position's actually alright for face planting the floor because you're quite close, so it doesn't really hurt. Just have a play around. If you don't want to do this, then just stay in your twisted squat. We'll have another go for 3 more seconds, so doesn't matter if you fall. 2 and 1. Wherever you are, take an inhale, come up to standing. As you exhale, forward fold, bring the fingertips down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, take a really long lunge to the back of the mat with the right leg. Drop the right knee down. Inhale, coming up to standing. Not to standing, coming up through centre. We're going to take the hands back behind the back and imagine that you're squeezing a really big beach ball so the arms are really active. You can either keep that right knee down or tuck the right toes and lift that right knee off the mat. Start to fold forwards over the left leg so all of your weight is coming into that left leg. With an inhale, bring both hands up overhead. As you exhale, take the hands back. Squeeze that big beach ball behind your back. Keep that left knee stacked over the left ankle. We've got 2 more like this. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, take the hands back behind. Keep that core active, belly button pulls back to the spine. Last time, inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, extend the arms backwards. Really keep the arms active. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Coming up to a standing position. We're going to drop that right heel down, open up the arms into your warrior 2. So your left leg is bent and your right leg is straight. The left heel is in line with the right toes. Arms are active. Bend into the left knee. Just take your gaze over that left hand. Squeeze the bum, tuck the sit bones under. Keep breathing. Allow the shoulders to move down the back. Take one more inhale here. As you exhale, bring the left forearm to the left thigh. Reach the right hand up and over. Finding that stretch down the right side of the body. Try not to lean into that left leg. We're going to place the right fingertips just alongside that right ear. The left hand is then going to start to move off that left thigh. I'm going to bring the left hand to the left ear. Keep squeezing the bum, using your abdominal muscles. Extend the arms up overhead. Holding it here for 3, 2, keep breathing, and 1. Coming up to standing, open up the arms. Start to straighten that left leg, and then just make your stance a little bit narrower. So walk that right foot in a tiny bit. Your feet still want to be as wide as the wrists here. Keeping both legs active. Reach the left hand forward. Both legs are straight. Hinge from that left hip. And then place the left hand either onto the thigh or onto the shin. Extend the right arm up towards the sky. So you should feel a stretch again down the right side of the body. Tuck the sit bones under. So imagine trying to point your bum down towards the floor. Engage the belly button back towards the spine. Keeping the legs strong. Right hand is going to come to the right ear. Left hand is then going to start to hover off that left leg. Bring the left hand towards the left ear. Keep breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Coming up through center. Place the hands onto the hips. Just turn the toes in slightly. Keep the feet as wide as the wrists. Place the hands onto the hips. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. As you exhale, hinging from the hips, folding forwards, bringing both hands as close towards the mat as you can. So you might need to bend your knees here to get your hands down a little bit closer towards the mat. If the hands don't meet the floor, you can take hold of your shins or your thighs or keep the hands on the hips. You want to feel a stretch down the hamstrings, the back of the legs in this position. So if you're finding this quite difficult, then just make your stance a little bit wider. If you're finding it quite easy, if your hands meet the floor quite comfortably, then just make your stance a little bit narrower. So there's more area for you to have to travel before your hands can meet the floor. Once your hands find the floor, then think about pressing the hands forwards into the mat. And this is going to intensify this stretch a little bit more. With every inhale, see if you can lengthen the spine, activate the quads. With every exhale, try and fold, try and relax a little bit deeper into this stretch. You're aiming here to bring the very top of your head down towards the mat. Now that probably seems quite crazy, but that's what we're trying to get to. We'll take another 2 breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. Just allowing yourself to soften into this a little more with every exhale. Inhale, come up halfway, place the hands onto the hips. And as you exhale, coming all the way up to standing. Just pivot on the feet so you're bending into that left leg. Place both hands down onto the mat and step back into your downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, bend the knees. Tiptoe, hop, step or walk or jump, both feet in between the hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, chest is parallel with the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bending the knees, fingertips brush the floor, keep the knees bent as you come all the way up into your chair position. So again, in this position, the feet want to be as wide as the hips, bending down the knees and to press your weight into your heels. Tuck the sit bones under. So when I say tuck the sit bones under, try not to flare your chest forward, bum back. Keep everything tucked under. Keep the core really active. We are going to come up onto the tiptoes just for a second, just to test that balance. So find something still. Slow the breath down. And then slowly bring the heels back down towards the mat. We're going to twist the other way this time. So take the left hand back, right hand comes forward. You can stay here or bring the hands together, either pressing the palms together or making a fist with the hands. Bend the knees a lot so that the right tricep can hook over the left quad. Try and open up the chest towards the sky. And think about trying to bring your hands as close towards that sternum, center of the chest as you can. Option to stay here, or if you want to have a play around with side crow on this side, bend your knees so you're sitting on your heels. Place the hands onto the floor and keeping that twist, be twisting over the left thigh. Your hands want to be flat onto the mat. Bend the elbows and screw the elbows backwards. You're then going to find a connection point. The very bottom of that left thigh meets with the right elbow and the very top of the left hip meets with the left elbow. From there, you can just start to transfer your weight forward. So just having to play around with leaning into it. If that feels okay, you can start to lift up one foot, maybe lift up both feet. If you're finding it easy, and once you've got both feet lifted, you can start to shoot the legs out forwards. You can stay in your twist if you don't want to have to play around with side crow. If you're in your twist, just check that the knees are still in line so that right knee hasn't started to track back. Sorry, the other direction. Left knee hasn't started to track back. We'll hold it here for another 3. If you're in your twist, it's going to be killing the quads. 2 and 1. Wherever you are, taking an inhale, come all the way up to standing. As you exhale, forward fold, bring the fingertips down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, take a long lunge back with the left leg and then drop that left knee down. We inhale, bring both hands up overhead. As you exhale, take the hands back behind you and imagine you're trying to squeeze a massive beach ball behind your back. So really activate the arms, triceps are turning on, spread the fingers wide. Either keeping that left knee down or tuck the left toes, lift that left knee off the mat. We're going to transfer all of the weight into that right leg. So you're folding forwards over that right leg. From here, we inhale, bring the hands up overhead. And as you exhale, take the hands back. Try and focus on your breathing to forget how much it burns that right leg. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, take the hands back. We've got one more. Stay with me if you can. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, take the hands back behind. Last time, bring the hands up overhead. Coming all the way up through center. Drop that left heel down. Open up the arms into your warrior 2 position. So bending into the right knee. The left leg is straight. Shuffle the right foot across so that the right heel is in line with the left toes. Keep the arms out. Keep the arms active. This is also going to start to get into the arms as well, so try not to put the arms down. Bend into that right knee and try and send the right knee forwards and at the same time out towards the right as well. Sit bones tuck under, core is active. Keep breathing. Take your gaze over that right arm. We'll take one more inhale here. As you exhale, right forearm comes towards the right thigh, left arm comes up and over, stretching down that left side of the body. So try not to lean into that right leg. We're going to test our abdominal strength. So bring the left hand towards the left ear. Try and drive the shoulder back and up. Rather than collapsing forwards, you're trying to really open up the chest. From here, start to hover that right forearm off that right leg. Right hand comes towards right ear. You can stay here or extend the arms up overhead, holding it here for 3. Twist the chest up to the sky. 2 and 1, coming up into your warrior 2. Start to straighten that right leg and then just make your stance a little bit narrower. So just check that the feet are still about as wide as the wrists. Keeping both legs straight, start to reach that right hand forward so you're hinging from that right hip. The right hand is then going to come to the right thigh or the right shin and lift the left arm up towards the sky. So again, finding another stretch down the left side of the body, but in this stretch you also want to think about opening into this right side of the body as well. It's called triangle stretch, so you're creating quite a lot of triangles. So you've got triangle with your leg and triangle down here and a triangle from your left toe up towards your left fingers. Squeeze the bum, tuck the sit bones under. Bring the left fingertips towards the left ear. Start to move that right hand off the right leg. Right fingertips come towards the right ear. Keep opening up the chest. Hold it here for 3. Keep breathing. 2 and 1. Coming all the way up through center. Just turn the toes in. Place the hands onto the hips. So there's 2 options for this next one. You can either do what we did the first time, where you're bringing both hands down towards the mat, or interlace the hands behind the back. Keep the legs wide. Push the ground away. Wherever you are, inhale to stand up nice and tall. And as you exhale, either bringing the hands down towards the mat or start to bring the hands up overhead as you fall forwards over the legs. So in this position, just make sure that both of your feet are next to each other. So that might mean just shuffling one forwards, back, and one forwards a little bit more. By next to each other, I mean having them wide, but they want to be parallel. So find your breath in this stretch. With every inhale, lengthening the spine. And with every exhale, just see if you can find a little bit more room in the hamstrings, a little bit of a deeper stretch. And we'll stay here for another 3 more breaths. Really activate the quads. Try and take a little bit more and more weight in through the toes. So it feels like you're going to collapse forwards. 1 more breath, big inhale in. As you exhale, place both hands onto the hips. We'll look forwards, come up halfway, and then make your way all the way up to a standing position. Pivot on the feet, place both hands flat down onto the mat, and step back into your downward dog. Drop the knees down, bring the feet together, and we will finish off with a child's pose. So just let your head relax onto the mat. Again, if there's any tension in the knees here, just come up a little bit higher so you don't have to drive your bum all the way back. You can keep your bum up to the sky. We are just going to finish with a couple of stretches from our child's position for the lower back and also for the shoulders. So in your child's pose, start to walk the hands forwards. It doesn't matter if your head is on the floor or not here. You want to reach the fingertips as far forward as you can so you get this stretch down the shoulders. Coming up, tent the hands and just start to walk the hands forwards. Slowing the breath down. From here, walk both hands over to the left hand side. So they're coming over as far to the left as you can do. You will eventually start to feel quite a strong stretch all down the right side of the body. So again, it'll depend where you're tighter, but you might be able to feel this down the lower back, into the laps, across the shoulder blades, maybe even into that right arm as well. Really slow the breath down here. Taking deep inhales in through the nose and deep exhales back out through the nose. Make your way back through center and take both hands over to the right hand side. So this time stretching down that right side of the body into the left lower back. It might feel completely different on this side. You might find that you've got lower back tightness on one side and not the other, which is normal. Slowly make your way back through center, and then we'll find our way into our Shavasana. So coming onto your backs in any way you want to, grabbing any extra layers that you want, any pillows, any blankets. Either having the legs out long or bending the knees, soles of the feet flat onto the mat. Just find a comfortable position on your back. You can either keep the hands out wide in this T position, hands on the belly, hands down by the side. Or if you want to finish with a passive stretch for the chest, then just bring your hands into a cactus position and just let your chest open here. So when you've found a comfortable position, take a big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. We'll do one more like that. Big inhale in through the nose. And exhaling it out through the mouth. Just allowing your body to settle. Take as many deep breaths here as you need, just to allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. We're moving quite fast tonight, this morning I mean, so just allow the breath to slow down, the heart rate to slow down. And we'll just give ourselves a body scan like we did at the beginning, so starting with the crown of the head, just start to soften the forehead, soften in the jaw, so unclench the teeth. Relax the shoulders. Just checking in with the spine, the lower back, the upper back, and see if you can allow your spine to be heavy, so relaxing your back into the mat. Noticing the hips, if there's any sensations in the hips. We've done quite a lot of hip work tonight as well with all the lunges this morning. Thinking it's the evening. And let your hands and your feet be heavy. And we'll just stay here for about another minute. So finding complete stillness for the body, for the mind. welcome to stay here any longer. If you want to start to wake up, then just start to move the body. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Taking a long pencil stretch. One last time, hands come up overhead. Stretch the feet, stretch the hands, point the toes. Draw the knees into the chest, hooking the hands around the shins, coming into a ball. And then we will rock either onto the left side or the right side, coming into a fetal position. Taking your time from here to come up to a comfortable seated position, whether that's on your knees or with the legs crossed or any other position that you want to take. Either keeping the eyes closed or just soften the gaze down towards the floor. Bring the hands up overhead. Keep the shoulder blades down. Press the hands together, so the palms coming together, and then draw the hands down through the centre, coming into the heart space. Drop your chin down towards your chest. Thank yourself for taking an hour out of your Tuesday morning to come and practice. Hope you have a wonderful rest of Tuesday. Fabulous week. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your days, not evenings. Let me know if you've got any questions. Hope you enjoyed it.